before we talk about Death Stranding, let's talk about Luigi's Mansion 3.
Good.
Because you're playing that.
Yeah.
And I would very much like to hear your thoughts on Luigi's Mansion 3. Because I've only played Dark Moon, which was on the 3DS. I've never played the first. So go ahead.
Keep in mind, I never played a Luigi's Mansion. They all are pretty much structurally the same game. I mean,
sure.
According to what Kevin Oates was telling me. The original one, I think, was on the, the Cube? The GameCube?
The Cube, baby.
And then the second one was on the DS, and Kevin Oates...
The 3DS, yeah.
Yeah, so Kevin Oates was showing me that, actually showing me footage from it and everything like that. So structurally, it's just a polish of... I mean, it's obviously the levels are going to be different. There's going to be... probably new collectibles. It seems like they're taking a cue from Odyssey and Breath of the Wild, obvious, that the game is like more, I don't know if the old ones were as intensive when it came to the amount of collectibles.
The 3DS one had, things were hidden everywhere in curtains, and you use the vacuum as your tool to essentially solve these puzzles and find the collectible. But they cranked it up a notch, it seems.
I see this game to be no, here's the thing. I see this game to be a great entry if somebody doesn't want to be overwhelmed by the giant open world that is Odyssey, or the giant open world that is Breath of the Wild. This is like Odyssey Light. You know, like it has puzzles.
It's a more contained experience.
It's a more contained experience. In fact, I drew a lot of parallels. They're not the same puzzles, but it's a similar puzzling experience as like a Resident Evil game. Like I definitely drew parallels between this game and Resident Evil in terms of the puzzling. Yeah.
I said that to Kevin Oates literally today. We're out with friends, we're watching football, and we're talking about Luigi's Mansion. And I've never played one. I still haven't played one of these games front to back, but I've watched people play them. And I asked him, I was like, is this like, because he was talking about he's going through the originals. He's going back through like 1 and 2. And
he's doing what I do with like Marvel hardware. TV shows.
And I asked him, I'm like, are these like this? It seems like almost like a kid version of like a Resident Evil game where it's spooky and there's puzzles. And he's like, yeah, kind of. It's exactly what it is.
Yeah, it's a lot like that. You know, like it's you know, it's got elements of Metroidvania type stuff. You'll like see something and you're like, oh shit, man, well, how do I get that? And you're like, I don't know. They'll ignore that fucking shit. Don't do it then.
Until I get a new power, you know what I mean? Something, some ability.
Keep playing. You have to press forward, because if you don't press forward, you're going to get hung up on this concept of that there isn't something you've unlocked yet. You know, like a great example was the vacuum itself, which I didn't even, because I never played any of these games. I didn't even know the vacuum was a thing. But there was all these like up high on like shelves and stuff, like flashing like gems and crystals and shit like that, and money or whatever. And I was like, how do I get all that? That's just like up on a fucking weird shelf. How do I get that? You know, I can't really jump. Right. There's no
That's what they want. They want you to be like, how do I fucking, and then like you see it and you're like, I'm gonna fucking.
So then I went
thing.
through the game, and then I unlocked the fucking vacuum.
Luigi?
No, I unlocked no, I have not gotten as far as the Luigi. But I've gotten as far as unlocking the elevator, which is the coolest thing, because then you can start going to different floors and stuff. Mm-hmm. But you unlock, you charge up the elevator to make it move again. But when you get the vacuum, it becomes this thing where you're like, oh, now I can just suck things off the shelf. It's like you just suck them right in, you know. And it's like, okay, now I don't need to like
sucking that shelf off.
Now I know why I don't have a jump button. You know what I mean? So it's really cool, and I've played, like I said, I've only beaten. There are there's probably like 25 boss ghosts that, you know, because there's a menu you can go into that you unlock eventually. Your menu. This is Kevin. This is a little bit of spoiler, but not really, because it's right in the beginning of the game. It's Kevin Oates probably appreciates this. No, because he hasn't got to it yet, but I'm going to spoil it anyway.
He's on 2. He's on Luigi's Mansion 2 right now.
Your menu thing, the thing where you go later on to find your menu, is a virtual boy. So Luigi puts on a virtual boy, and that's your menu to get to your like list of like gems.
He was literally telling me earlier today how like in the first game it was a Game Boy, but it was called oh god, it was all like punny names. Like it was the DS.
In this one they call it the VB.
The Dark Moon, you had a 3DS.
In this one he calls it the VB. He's like, put on your VB tech. And it's
what does the VB stand for though?
Virtual Boy. Duh.
Dude.
Yeah. So you put it on.
No, but it was like a punny fear name in the other ones. It was like
this one is just called the VB. Well, I think it's called the VB. Maybe I'm just wrong about that.
Dual Scream. The Dual Scream.
Oh, Dual Scream.
Yeah, instead of like DS, like for dual screen, it was
Dual Scream. VB. He calls it the VB, but VB might not stand for Virtual Boy. It might stand
that's
for
what I'm
some
asking.
other
I don't know
acronym.
what like the punny.
I don't know what the
name
punny
is.
VB stands for.
The Game Boy Horror instead of Game Boy Color. Yep. There's always like a punny kind of like name to these things.
Yeah, but anyway, so he puts it on, and that's what you go into whenever you need to look at like your.
Dude, that's amazing. I thought he was gonna have like a Switch or something, but that's even better.
Yeah,
that is definitely better.
So I've only fought one single boss ghost so far, like the first boss ghost that you fight.
All right, so you're pretty early on.
Yeah, I'm early on. I'm gonna get back to it probably on stream one of these weeks. I'm back to doing
nice
for stream. I'm back to doing like a whole game the whole week. So like this whole week is Death Stranding. You know.
Ooh, that's good, man.
I like that decision that you've made for yourself.
Next week,
if I may just say.
Yeah, right. And next week might be. I had a lot of success with the whole game the whole week because people come in one day and they come in a second day and they come in a third day. It's when I alternate between games every day that it's not good because the same people don't come back every day. So next week
I would agree.
Next week
we can talk shop.
Yeah,
later.
Next week I'm probably going to do Luigi's Mansion 3.
So overall, you're enjoying your first moments with the game?
Well, I like it way better than Odyssey because Odyssey is so big that I just get like, where do I go next? Like, it's so overwhelming. It's same with Breath of the Wild. They're both so fucking big. This is tighter, and I'm going to be able to like probably go through this, get all the gems, and enjoy myself.
Well, I have bad news about Death Stranding, Felix.